love puppetry, and I love to see the kids' eyes just laughing. It's a look of enchantment.
A puppeteer uses inanimate objects, puppets, even these little teeny puppets like these little toy theater puppets, and uses them to communicate what they're thinking about, what they're talking about, what their ideas are. And sometimes the puppet becomes the alter ego. Sometimes the puppet actually says what the puppeteer is thinking and feeling. I had the opportunity to be in Kenya a few years ago working with children and teachers there, and I think one of the children said it best. She said, puppets say the things that I can't say out loud.
I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do.
I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do.
Puppetry means to me the manipulation of something that is inanimate, that has no life, like, say, this little basket, and creating life in it. Anything, and especially something that expresses emotion. So here we have just a simple basket, but I could suddenly make it come alive.
No, nice to see you.
So
one of my favorite lines was by Pablo Picasso, and also the same line from Stanislavski, who created the method acting system. And they both said, art is a lie that tells the truth. All art is a lie that tells the truth. Well, certainly puppetry is a lie, because you have this handmade thing on your hand, or on strings, or however they're worked. But you're telling the truth about people. You're not telling a lie. Folktales are the same way. Folktales have a lot of wild, crazy things in them that don't really happen. But the actually underneath of that is a reality that affects us all.
I don't live only by puppetry. I consider puppetry being part of the theater, and I'm theater artist. Being puppeteer is being theater artist.
I see the puppet as a third object that I can communicate with you. You and I can have a conversation face to face, but there's a lot of things we can't maybe say to each other, or we're not that comfortable, we don't know each other that well. And this is the third. Sometimes in art therapy they call it an object, but in puppetry this is another person that we're both friends with and we both can see. And so I think a puppet really brings together a child and an adult, for instance, makes a bridge between those two. I've seen it used with a sick patient and a medical person. But this is a wonderment to an adult and to a child both. So that's an object that holds that fascination for both of us.
To me, puppetry gives me the opportunity to do a lot of the things that I love to do. I've always loved to make things, so I get to make all these puppets. And I love playing with characters and personalities. And more recently, being a puppeteer gives me the opportunity to use puppetry to communicate my concern about the environment and nature, teaching about animals.
Puppetry for me is a way to express myself, because in my normal conversation type, I tend to have a lot of pauses and stuff like that. When I do my puppet voices, and I make myself express myself clearer, and puppetry to me means a way to get across what I want to say.
But I enjoy exploring a lot of different aesthetic models, the imagery of so many different subcultures. Everyone opens up my eyes to a different way of seeing something, and doing something maybe that I've never done before. So doing things that are very naturally channeled through me are fun, and I enjoy that. But I also enjoy finding parts of me that I I wouldn't find so quickly.
I happened to see the tail end of a PBS show featuring the Little Players, who were a wonderful hand puppet theater that I later got to see in person. But at the time, I didn't know who they were or what they were, but I started making puppets that day. I think I was 19 at the time, 18 or 19.
Originally, the way I guess every puppeteer gets into it, doing puppet shows. But then my real thing is singing. And I guess the two of them came together. I think art and music are linked. And this is my way to link them, my particular way.
Just look at me and you will see that nature did her best. If you think my face is my only grace, then please observe the rest.
For a minute. I got started in 76 at Emerson College. I took a puppetry class. I always was interested in puppets, and made my first puppet, and the rest has gone downhill since then.
I did. I had been a puppeteer all of my childhood, doing puppetry as a teenager and in high school, and I got some good reviews from that. And then when I graduated from high school, I needed a job that would pay for, make a living and earn a living and make me get rich. So I went into advertising. I could draw well, and I was an advertising designer. The opportunity came for me to change jobs, and I did. And I said, okay, what kind of job do I want? I don't like advertising. What am I going to do? Puppetry. And I did, and I've been happy doing it. One of the pleasant things of doing it is actually sharing it with the audience.
After college, where I had majored in art, I met my now co-worker, Len Gerwick, and he had grown up doing puppet shows in New York City. And he had not done a show in quite a while, but he got everything out for me. We had become friends, and he set it up, and he did a show. And I was amazed at how amazed I was.
And my friend advised me, you know what, there's a puppet theater in Jelenia Góra is a town. And this puppet theater is created by wonderful artist, Andrzej Dziedziul, and they may hire you, they may help you. They just invited me to the team. They invited me to be part of the ensemble, and I work with them and I learn from them, and then I start my puppetry school.
National Day of Puppetry is a day set aside by the Puppeteers of America to celebrate the art and craft of puppetry, and it's done all over the country on the last Saturday of April. And we have been doing special events for many, many years to celebrate the National Day of Puppetry. It's a great way for puppeteers in all parts of the country, in their small areas, to get together and celebrate this art form. So I have enjoyed participating and being a part of the celebration and feeling that the camaraderie is happening all across the country.
So the National Day of Puppetry is a great way to celebrate life, because puppetry, I think, crosses boundaries of culture, class, age, language, and it's something that is open to everyone. So by celebrating with the National Day of Puppetry, we're making everyone aware that here is a form, an art form, that is really open to all.
It's just bringing the awareness to people all over the country about puppetry. And we approach it different ways in different years.
Because any time that we can promote the art of puppetry, the art of live performances, and the joy of what I've had over the past 30 so years, I'm just excited about being able to be part be a small part of a large event.
Boston Area Guild of Puppetry is a great place to get resources. There's a lot of people who are in the guild who've been doing puppet shows for years and years and years, and they're a great resource. You can just listening to them talk about their experiences and their knowledge and festivals they've been to, even if they're not puppeteers. Some of them have seen so much great puppetry that it's like soaking it all up. And it's also good, you can share ideas.
The benefit of joining the Greater Boston Guild of Puppetry is, first of all, there are amazing people in the guild, and you just watch them, and you just can't believe how skilled the level of puppetry is out there. It also gives you ideas. It throws off ideas to you. It gives you support. You know you're not alone in this world. When you're out performing as an individual artist, you feel sometimes you're just out there, and when you can connect up with people who are fellow artists with you, you know you're doing the right thing.
I'm a member of the Boston Area Guild of Puppetry and have been, I think, for 20 years. And it was just it has been wonderful to be in a room full of other people who really like puppets and who, instead of looking quizzically, just want to see it, want to touch it, and want to show you what they do.
The Guild has a home at Puppet Show Place Theater. A lot of the meetings and events that the Guild has are held here. And as I mentioned, dozens of the performers who are members of the Guild also perform on stage at Puppet Show Place. So we have a symbiotic relationship with these organizations.
I've been a member of the Boston Area Guild of Puppetry for a long, long time. And also by being a member, I joined the Puppeteers of America and the international organization, which is UNIMA. And through these organizations, I had the opportunity to meet people from all over the world. So being a member of our local association of puppeteers kind of catapulted me into joining these national, international groups. And my membership in the Puppeteers of America has led me to the opportunity to work in China and to work in Africa. So belonging to these organizations has been very exciting for me and brought me to places I never thought puppets or anyone would bring me.
When one is a puppeteer, there's often just a real desire to get together and talk with other people who do what you do, because chances are they are the only ones who have dealt with the same problems that maybe you've been dealing with, or they know what you mean. They can provide very valuable feedback, support, just social. Some of my best friends are my puppeteer friends.
Being a puppeteer is always interesting. Every show is different, every audience is different. I always perform live, so every time I do a show, it's a little bit different, depending on what the audience says, depending on what happens in the show. It's really fun to be able to do so many different parts of putting on a theater production, from making the backdrops, to making the costumes, to doing all the acting, to writing the script. It's just, you get to do it all.
Puppeteers are awesome. They create their own solo shows. They're a one-person shop. They sometimes act, compose, design, and market all of their own product. And many of them have such amazing interdisciplinary skills as a performer. They're sometimes voicing all of the characters in the show. They're sometimes creating music that goes along with it. They're building a stage and figuring out how that stage can collapse to fit in the back of their car, so they're engineering geniuses. I love working with puppeteers. At the core, though, what a puppeteer knows how to do is a really magical, amazing thing, and that's making an audience think that something is alive that's not alive. And that magic of the art form, which often is part of the physical and the manipulation performance, is breathtaking, and that's at the heart of all good puppet theater.
I'm the alter ego of the puppeteer. How are you doing? Oh, it's nice to see you all.
Pretty used spray paints and paints. All sorts of goodies.
Okay, that's my cat, and his name is Meow.
Oh, hello, Mr. Mouse. Oh, it's a mouse. Oh, no. Oh, shoo, shoo, shoo. Oh, where'd that mouse? Oh, it's a mouse. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Oh, 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 mice give me the weebie-jeebies. Oh.
Cinderella, my room is a big mess. Go clean it up.
Oh, okay. It was very clean yesterday.
That was yesterday. This is today.
Oh,
see, last night I decided to try on all my dresses.
all of them?
That's 150 dresses. I know. That's why the room is a mess. See, first I tried on the white dress. You know that one?
Oh, yes.
And it was too long. So I took it off and flung it.
Oh.
My name is Judith O'Hare, and most of the work I do is performing with children. But sometimes you can just perform for the fun of it. And I'd like to present you with the ladies. Betty, it's so good to see you. I've been calling you all day. I was shopping at Marshall's, dear. Like my hat? How much did you pay? It was a bargain, really a steal, dear. But I've got to go, I've got a date. Stop the music. Did you say a date? Yes, dear. How did an old girl like you get a date?
So what a mask maker does is not that different than what a puppeteer does. We're all involved with object theater, and that is bringing to life an inanimate object, making it come alive. Masked puppets can all be beautiful works of art. They can hang in museums, on walls, on stands. But what's really special is when somebody, through their intercession, they make it come alive.
When you're a puppeteer, you know, you being unique, being different is some way justified. Okay, he's puppeteer, right? He's puppeteer, so he can be different. He doesn't need to follow, you know, this or that set of rules. He has his own rules, and he can create these rules in his theater and in his life. So it's a little bit like being artist and trying to set, you know, some kind of life which you like to live. But I think it is not only about puppetry, I think it is about being creative, and I think it is not only about being artist, I think it's about being human.
Simple. Puppets don't have to be complicated. It's accessible to anyone and everyone. It's about the imagination. Hey! Nice to see you.
We have inside of us so many different true faces, and playing with the mask is a way of exploring them, of bringing them out.
Puppetry is unique because you don't have to have a special physical appearance. You could have a physical appearance of a marionette could have any physical appearance it wants, or a puppet could have any appearance it wants, and also you can make it move however you want. Like maybe in real life you're not as graceful, and you can make the marionette do all these wonderful moves that you can't do yourself.
Everybody, I wish she could see the beauty inside herself. In fact, I wish there was something I could give her, something I could give my grandma to see what a beautiful person she is.
Puppetry is unique because it can be used for so many different purposes by so many different people in so many different places for so many different reasons.
When you're a puppeteer, say you're going to perform in a library, you come into the library with all these boxes, and in about half an hour, it's almost like you've built a house. It's the house where your puppets will live while they tell the story. It's a lot of setting up and a lot of breaking down, but it's also satisfying because you have this chance to make a whole different little world for that hour that you're with the audience.
Why are you coughing and crying?
I thought you liked smoke.
What happened? Are you all right?
Your friend was smoking in bed and fell asleep. If I hadn't been nearby, the whole place would have gone up in smoke. Even so, she lost most of her toys.
Even I'm not that stupid.
Being a puppeteer enables me to do a lot of the things that I really like to do. I've always loved making things. So, of course, as a puppeteer, I get to make all the puppets. And I love creating characters and voices for the puppets.
Chiquita banana, and I'm going to say, bananas have to ripen in a certain way, with the brown flecked with the golden hue. Bananas taste best and are the best for you.
I found that there was a tremendous magic in working with these young children who had language difficulties, who had cognitive difficulties, but they could still speak through the puppets. And the most miraculous things happened. Children who didn't talk would talk with puppets. I had a 6th grade boy who didn't, I didn't know it, but he was in a special class because he did not talk. But he played the wolf in The Boy That Cried Wolf, and he was a great wolf. I never knew he didn't talk. So the puppet freed him, and once he got a lot of praise for being a great wolf, he did begin to talk. And after he was in the 6th grade when I met him, he went on at the end of that year to go into the 7th grade and 8th grade and eventually into high school. So to me, it was like the puppets were a miracle for him. They opened doors for him. That's exciting for me.
Skiddamadink-a-dink-a-dink, skiddamadink-a-doo, I love you.
Because the breath is the most important thing to a puppet. The way it breathes, the way it has life. And so even if you've got a recorded soundtrack, if you can bring that breath to it, it seems alive.
I like them all for whatever their particular story is.
The wonderful thing about being a puppeteer is when you really connect with the audience and you feel like they understood the characters you presented, which are a part of yourself, and that they were interested in the story you brought.
In the greater Boston area, there's been an explosion of puppetry being used on theatrical stages in the past few years.
I brought him to a summer camp last year and the children loved it. They love seeing it move, and then the most important thing to them is then being able to do it themselves.
I also wish that puppetry were used in research a lot more often, particularly now that comprehension in reading is getting such a big emphasis. But until enough research projects are done and published, we won't know what can be achieved with puppetry in education. Goodness knows the challenges that there are in schools today should be able to draw on whatever has been learned through using puppet in school through these last decades.
And I see a lot of experimenting with size, with purpose, with materials.
I think a sad thing about puppetry today is that there are very few big troupes. When I first became a puppeteer, there was a lot of puppetry in the schools, and people were touring with 3 puppeteers, maybe a technician, or every now and then live music. And it made for dynamic, wonderful shows. Now more and more, you see 2-people troupes, but you see so many solo troupes. And you get really nice shows, but there's not the range of motion or the range of voices that you get with a few more
Yes,
people.
I think now when you could have, even 10 years ago, you could probably get 10-year-olds to come to a puppet show and parents to bring their 10-year-old or 8-year-old to a puppet show. Now, they'll only come if their younger sibling is going. Now it's like they're too cool with their Xbox and their stuff. Or at least they think now. Once they get there, they love the puppets. They absolutely love it. But because of what they're exposed to now, and kind of the way it's being classified, people do, I'm finding the audiences are getting younger and younger and younger. You know?
Puppetry has changed over the 35 years. A funny story, I did a birthday party, and one of the mothers came up to me and says, "You do more things than you did when you came to my party." And I says, of course I do more things, because you have to change and you have to grow. And I think we have to start exploring different ways to use media, to use, to get out and show people that creativity and imagination and live performances are great. So the more that we able to compete with what's changing in the world, the better off we are as performers. So let's change for the better, I hope.
Puppets on television actually brought puppetry to the front. The puppets like Kukla and Ollie, puppets like Jim Henson and the Muppets. Certainly, neither of them were really purely performing for children. You know, when Jim Henson got the opportunity to work with the Children's Learning Center, he did the children's work, but he continued to do adult works through the Muppets and in other ways. And some of his movies were definitely not for children.
I think puppets have changed a great deal since I began 30 years ago. We used to perform mostly for children, and that was wonderful. We performed in schools and worked mostly with children. But there's been a loss, not only here in the Boston area, but nationally as I talk to my colleagues around the country. But I think another big change in puppetry has been working more toward adult puppetry and making puppets that are, in puppet performances that are geared to an adult audience. And this has been a very exciting shift in the last 20 years. And it's done in Boston a great deal through the Puppet Slams at the Puppet Show Place Theater. And these have been an exciting new way to use and experience the art of puppetry, and have attracted a different type of artist, I think, who wants to perform for adults. And I think it's an exciting wave of the future. And I also think technology is changing the face of puppetry a great deal.
Oh, hello there. My name is Granny Pearl.
This is actually not a puppet I built myself, but this is a puppet I sort of rescued. I found it in a basement. I paid a small amount for it, and it's from probably the 1930s, this puppet.
It's not easy being blue.
And if you have not spun all this straw into gold by tomorrow morning, your head shall be chopped off.
You're gonna be my lunch. I already gave you my lunch. Oh yeah, so you did. All right, get up on that barbecue. You're gonna be my lunch. Oh dear, use your head, use your head, use your head.
Ooh, lovely. You see? So sturdy. Oh, thank you, Mr. Badger. Oh, thank you so much. It was nothing. It was everything. Tell me, may we have a party, a fairy?
I used a clear plastic hand puppet in order to show the children how to work the puppets, but
is sharing something with the audience from within their heart and soul.
Brother! Brother!